Hello my friends. Well, my ball joint just busted on my front end where my tire is. So I'll be showing you guys my adventure now. I was going to get tires at Discount Tires and they were going to drive it into the bay, and then all of a sudden the tire just, they heard a snap and then it just busted and turned in. So waiting on a tow truck and then gonna get towed over to a place to repair it. So anyways, I was getting quotes on it, but I guess apparently my van wasn't gonna wait for me to finish getting some quotes. But anyway, so I'll show you what's going on. My new adventure. It's crazy. Oh my gosh, what an adventure. Gee. It's on there now, all the way. What an adventure. It was dragging on the bottom, so I'm watching at the bottom. Much better. Woohoo! Much better. Yeah, lucky it was only the hitch. The hitch was going into the ground, so it's okay now. Well, I'm all tucked in for the night. Boy, my gosh, what an adventure, my gosh, that I've been on. Anyways, you know, one thing to keep in mind is that I have had a mysterious clunking for a while, and nobody has been able to figure out what is going on. So I've had a couple of places that have tried to check out the front, and I got no answers. A lot of people thought it was the springs, and you know, and then you know, a lot of subscribers were saying, you know, tie rods, you know, it was the ball joints and maybe having that looked at, or maybe they're starting to fail. And But you know what I learned from this is, you know, us women really need to learn how are they inspecting these rigs. We really need to educate ourselves more. If we think it's an issue, how do they inspect it? Because I don't think anybody ever raised the vehicle up. And the mechanic I was taking the van to, you know, never raised it up, and that they should have told me, well, we don't have a way of really properly checking that, and then send me somewhere else, you know. And I'm just assuming, oh, they say, oh yeah, everything's okay, you know. And anyway, so that's something I've learned. And when I saw Midas check it, they lifted it up, they wiggled those wheels, and said, oh boy, there shouldn't be that kind of play, and they showed me. So anyways, I've learned something from that. And yeah, you know, us women especially out there, we need to learn more about the rigs. Again, I've been 20 years trouble-free with a lot of Japanese trucks, basically. And so I never really had to worry about anything. So definitely I'm going to get more involved in learning more things, how they inspect things. I think that's really the smartest thing to do with an American-made car. But now this mysterious clunking, you know, will be fixed. The one thing I'm so thankful about is that I wasn't on a highway, you know, that I wasn't going down road at 70 miles per hour on a highway. Oh my gosh, the thought of a kind of accident that this could have caused is pretty scary. Actually more scary to me than being on a back road, you know, even if I was on a BLM land or forest road and that happened. You know, but I don't go too far deep unless I'm with somebody. So, but, you know, even that thought is like, whoa, but, you know, I'm still not going to live in fear. I'm going to just make sure that everything is inspected and learn how they should be inspecting these things. Get more involved on what the mechanics are doing in their inspection. So that's one of the things I hope I have learned and other ladies will learn as well. Okay, same thing with the leaning. When I got the van was leaning to the right, and I thought it had to do with I had too much weight on the one side. If you watch my earlier videos, you'll see that I was questioning and asking my subscribers. I think it was like my full-time day 1 or 2 in the rig, and I go, isn't my van leaning to the right? You know, and I thought it was about the weight. So I already had an existing problem with my shackle. It didn't happen when I was on the road. It might have got worse a little bit, but that is the miracle right there that wasn't far worse, because I now know what that leaning was about. And I took this rig down, you know, off-road places and BLM land, and this whole journey with a bad shackle. I'm pretty sure of it, how it lodged itself up in that place. That didn't just happen. So it got a little worse recently, but I've always, I'm sure now, have had an issue. Okay, so that's the mystery of that story, and you know, the miracle of that story of now that everything turned out to be okay with that, and I got my answers about the leaning to the right. Okay, so anyway, so everything's okay, and again, you know, we have expenses when we're in rigs like this, but this is my house and vehicle, and when you have a stick and brick house, you're still going to have expenses to your house. Plus, you're going to have expenses to your car. I know, because I've done that. I've had both. So I just choose to have everything in one place or spot, and at least the expenses to, you know, a rig like this is far less expensive than anything you have going on to your house. I know it, because when they say you could be house poor, they mean it, with all the expenses and utilities and everything that goes on with having a house. So this is still far cheaper than, you know, having you know, a stick and brick house and a vehicle. So I have no regrets. Okay, all right, so having this, And so I'll keep you informed as everything gets worked out and fixed. And you know, and I just look at everything as an adventure. Okay, all right, so I love you all, and I will keep you informed how everything goes, and I'll see you in the next video.